Hello, and welcome to the Champions League corner. It's myself, Killian. I am joined by Evan, Angus, Andrew, and Chris. We're going to be discussing everything that happened in the Champions League last week, everything that's going to happen in the Champions League in the quarter-final, what it means for your team, and how it all went down. And firstly, we're going to go over to Chris, who's going to read out the results from the last 16 of the Champions League.
So, on Wednesday, the 13th of March, Atletico Madrid beat Inter Milan 2-1 to go 2-2 on aggregate, with Madrid winning 3-2 on the penalty count. Followed closely by Borussia Dortmund, who beat Eindhoven 3-2. 3-1 on aggregate. Arsenal won on penalties to Porto to go in for the first time in many years. Barcelona beat Napoli 4-2 on aggregate to advance to the next round. This was followed on Wednesday by Manchester City, who, coming from nowhere this season, beat Copenhagen 6-2 on aggregate. Real Madrid then played Leipzig, and they won 2-1 on aggregate to advance to the next round. Bayern Munich then dominated Lazio in a display for the ages, followed by PSG, who also dominated in a display for the ages against Real Sociedad.
So that leaves us with the quarterfinals for the Champions League. Arsenal will take on old foes Bayern, who I suppose Arsenal will have many memories of their hammerings against them in the past, and we want to rectify that. That is coming up in the first leg. Also, you have Real Madrid versus Man City, a tasty encounter between two of Europe's top teams. PSG will be taking on Barcelona. I suppose who can forget the famous Sergio Roberto comeback when Barcelona defeated them a couple of years back. Also, Atletico Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. I suppose two underdogs left in the Champions League. That's bound to be fireworks. So that is the quarterfinal draw. I suppose 8 strong teams left in the competition, and we're now going to have a quick discussion on our predictions for the quarterfinal and who is going to get through and who's going to win the Champions League.
Well, Arsenal certainly be needing their honorary in the Champions League as they come up against an albeit weakened Bayern Munich side. They haven't been going well domestically this season, even though Harry Kane is probably one of the top 3 best players in the world currently. Would you agree?
Thierry Henry, Henry Shefflin, Henry Howard, doesn't matter. They're not going to beat Bayern Munich.
No, you don't reckon? What makes you think?
I don't know. I just think Arsenal are as good as I reckon they are, and I think Arteta, for one of the better word, can be a bit of a clown, and he gets a bit emotional with these things, and I think it's going to get the better of him. Particularly after getting hockey by them before, and they lack experience. I think none of these players have really gone this far in the Champions League before, so I don't think.
Was Arteta in that squad?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I suppose you have to add on Harry Kane's injury as well. He suffered at the weekend.
Yeah.
That could be taken into consideration, but I suppose Bayern's quality and experience.
I think it'll be poetry when a team with Eric Dyer that knocks Arsenal out of the Champions League.
Any thoughts, Evan?
I don't think Arsenal's very good, but I think they're good in the Premier League because they've been there forever and dominate that league. But in the Champions League, they have no experience. So you're going up against Bayern, who has Harry Kane as their best player, who can't win anything. So it'll be a kind of pathetic first draw, I feel like. But
yeah.
And Chris, how crucial do you think Martin Odegaard will be to Arsenal's chances to get going all the way?
Oh, look, I've said it forever. His play domestically, incredible. His other stuff, off the charts. I think that his pass to Trossard in the game was sumptuous.
Oh, beautiful. I suppose.
What a word.
Predictions all around. I'm going to go Bayern over the 2 legs. What do you think?
I'm going to go Bayern.
yeah, Bayern.
Aye, Bayern.
I think Harry Kane's trophy experience will keep Bayern in the hunt.
Moving on, PSG will be taking on Barcelona, and I suppose It's an interesting tie in a way because it's Xavi's last season with Barcelona. He's announced his departure will be at the end of the season as manager. And PSG, who have never won the Champions League, with Kylian Mbappe also leaving PSG, he's announced that at the end of the season to, I suppose, in all but name, he's going to Real Madrid. Any thoughts on the fixture? What do you think?
Well, I think some interesting revelations have come out that Lamine Yamal might be lying about his age. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
That would be wild.
Chris, what's your opinion of Lamine Yamal?
I don't really have an opinion, but I do think the Messi-Neymar matchup is going to be ridiculous in this game. Box office.
Cracking joke by Chris there. I suppose we were all thinking it, but no one wanted to say
He's
it.
got a bit messied up in his head there.
But yeah, I think PSG will win. I think just even despite the lack of Champions League wins, I think over the 2 legs they'll have the quality, and Mbappe is truly showing in this year's Champions League. I'm a big fan of him. I think he is the best player in the world right now.
That's probably fair to say. He wouldn't get a run for balls though. But no, I think to be honest, I feel like whoever wins it, I think Atletico are going to beat them anyway. Maybe that's a big thing, but I think Atletico are going to win out. The decided to draw favours them very much.
Well, a big history in getting to latter rounds of Champions League, being the underdogs and winning.
Particularly against Barcelona. I mean,
Yeah.
Jordan, when Messi, Suarez and Neymar were there, the one team they consistently failed to beat in the Champions League was Atletico Madrid. So I think Simeone knows how to get the best out of the players he has, and I think he'll get the final.
I think Barcelona could go up to the final because I think João Felix really is against Atletico Madrid. He has no interest in them. We saw he scored there on St. Patrick's Day against them, and he scored in the first fixture as well, and didn't hold back his celebrations. So
Yeah.
I think
What's the rules against?
there's no route in La
In
Liga.
La Liga, but
or
is there in the
Champions
Champ-
League.
no
No.
Champ-
Remember
okay.
James Rodriguez
Oh, it's
scored
Courtois
against-
as well.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting dynamic you have there between Felix and Madrid, Atletico Madrid. I also think Gundogan, every year, this time of year for Man City, he came into his own, so I don't see what's going to stop him from coming into his own this year.
I don't think Barcelona has it. I think they have like too many injured players in their squad. And they're super young, relying on 16-year-old up top and in the midfield, 2 very young players if they're fit. And playing the amount of games that they have at their age, I feel like they could not be able to compete in the La Liga and Champions League at the same time. But PSG also in like a transition year, losing a handful of players. So I agree that I think whoever they compete up in the next round, either Atletico Madrid or Dortmund, I feel like they will have the experience on them.
I don't think Dortmund will beat them now, but Atletico, I mean, we've seen them over the years consistently what Simeone does in the Champions League. So but I think PSG will win this.
How do you think Griezmann is currently a top 5 player in the world?
Yeah.
He was.
I think it has to be said.
He was phenomenal
Yeah.
against Inter Milan.
He's so silky.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
even in the World Cup up to the final, I thought Baron Messi he was the best player
It's
in the tournament.
amazing as well that he's dropped back a good bit deeper later on in his career,
Yeah.
but he's still covering just as much ground. He's playing basically centre mid
Yeah.
whenever he's playing for
You have to
France.
enjoy his comeback arc has been amazing.
Oh,
I love it.
What do you think, Chris? How do you think Griezmann's going to fare for Madrid and the rest of the Champions League?
Good.
Yeah, I
I'm on
couldn't agree more.
I'm on a few words, Chris.
That's all that has to be said.
Yeah.
PSG Barcelona, all round predictions.
PSG.
Yeah, I'm going PSG.
I think Barcelona.
Going PSG.
So we are 4-1 PSG. And now we'll move on to Maths was always my strong point. Madrid, hala Madrid, y nada más, hala Madrid. That'll hopefully the words that will be played in the Champions League quarter-final in the Bernabeu when Madrid take on Man City, and hopefully get a few goals, Bellingham as the saying goes, and that's a tasty encounter, has to be said.
Yeah, it's definitely the strongest out of them. It could be argued that's the Champions League final already in the quarter-final. I think Man City just don't have the heritage. I know they won it last season, obviously, but we saw, was it 2 seasons ago when Vinny came off the bench and won the game single-handedly? I don't think Man City have anyone that can do that for them currently. So I think no matter how, Madrid will never be out of this game until the final whistle of the second leg is blown.
I think the loss of Cole Palmer to Man City is going to have a huge impact on this game.
That is a crazy.
Only basic.
Losing Richard Dunn about 12 years.
No,
It's a pity Stephen Ireland's fourth granny died.
but yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Madrid go on and win this game. I think Jude Bellingham's been such a brilliant addition to that side.
Is he in for the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, probably is. And even when I said earlier Mbappe, I didn't even consider Bellingham as he definitely is top 3 in the world right now in terms
I
of
think
players.
it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, really, and you could say either one of them is the best player in the world, and I wouldn't be mad at you. You know what I mean?
Does it say a lot for the Premier League that arguably England's 2 best players are playing outside?
Jordan Flores as well.
I think it says a lot for Ireland. That
2 best players.
It says a lot for Ireland that the top 3 most extensive English signings of all time are Jack Grealish, Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, who all could have played for Ireland.
Declan Rice as well.
Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Was that the overall long-term goal of the English during the famine? So it was to strengthen their soccer team
I reckon
in the 21st century.
There's a lot, like Cromwell knew what he was doing.
He did, and look, he was saying to Hell or to Connacht. I think that's a fair reflection on Connacht, comparing to Hell.
Listen, you can't fertilise that in Hell. You can't fertilise that in the Connacht.
I mean,
there's parallels.
I'd argue Connacht is worse than Hell. At least a bit of warmth in Hell.
We won't get into politics here, but I completely agree with Connacht being the hell of
There
it.
are no warm days in Connacht.
There are very few warm days. Maybe Reek Sunday, climbing up the Reek in the bare feet and, back. I know they changed the GAA schedule there, but, you climb up the Reek, your feet would be cut and you could tip down to Pierce Stadium for the Connacht final then. It was beautiful.
There are a few cans in a rig now. No one would ever mad at cans in a rig now.
We go for a few cans after this. Chris, Los Blancos, Man City. Who was winning?
I just want to go back and touch on the famine plan.
Okay, so Chris doesn't actually have any say in it, as his ancestors killed mine. So.
Legal reasons.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome, everybody. I don't think we killed him. We offered you soup, and you just refused to take it. But us Protestants, we do have great forward thinking, so we have been stealing your players and your food for many generations. But yeah, so I think Man City will win.
Well, cut me off there, man. Jesus.
Excuse me for my terrible editing skills.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Well, we have, I
We
suppose,
talked about Athletic Andorra.
we kind of touched on it,
Let's
but...
go with that.
Yeah, I think enough said.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like she's not going to really grade this, I feel like.
I cannot agree with anything that has just been said. But I suppose to conclude, I suppose Atletico do win that game. But I wouldn't doubt Dortmund to give me a good challenge,
Any team with Jadon Sancho with it.
Yeah, I suppose from a United perspective,
What was I going to say? Now we get to talk about the big questions. Are the Lilies beating loud at the weekend?
I think Kevin Feely's form, if he can carry anything like that into it,
We may need a whole new podcast just so I can talk about how good
Is he genuinely? Is he top 10 in the country at the moment?
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think
it's
it's fair.
fantastic.
It's a fair
I'd
statement.
say so.
That was an incredible mark he scored at the weekend there.
But his ability on his left foot and his right foot.
We saw that against Roscommon there.
I remember the week I know this has nothing to do with Champions League, but you need to hear this. Whoever's listening, the week after that point he scored against Roscommon, we were all training, and he obviously wasn't doing any contact or that. But he was just out and practicing that mark, 5 or 6 times from the sideline on his weak foot, and he kicked it 5 or 6 times in a row. And any of them books in the Champions League could learn from that.
Yeah, I think so.
Feely doesn't take a shot until he hits it. He takes a shot until he can't miss it. Do you know what I mean?
That's an excellent way.
The
Of putting
Feely's-
Kevin Feely's mindset, it's an excellent way.
Kevin Feely's Mamba mentality. That's the title of this podcast.
And, that brings an end to episode 1 of the Champions League Corner. Make sure to tune in to episode 2, where we'll have special guest Kevin Feely joining us for our conversation about his
Stop it, man. I can
Champions
only
League
get so
abilities.
excited.
Thank you all for listening.
I'm already excited for episode 2 of this. But Jesus, if Feely was on it, oh my god.
Good luck, lads. Good luck, Chris.
Any final words, Chris?
No.
Give our